I guess it's kind of rivals because we have Coach Sweetie on our team and she used to coach there, so maybe for her a little bit it is. I would see them as a little bit of a rival because of 2 years ago when they beat us here. I don't know, it's fun to play them. I used to actually live in Henniker. If I didn't move, I would have gone to John Stark, but I'd say it's a rival, yeah.
Yeah, so they beat us in the playoffs my sophomore year and knocked us out in the quarterfinal, but last year we played them and I think we beat them pretty handedly, so it'll be interesting to see. We don't go in cocky, but it's also funny because Sweeney, our pitching coach, coached at John Stark, and her dad is a coach there. So, and I know his birthday's on Friday, so he asked us to give him a birthday present and let them win. But
we're a little bit like kind of like rival teams because we're so close, and we are in like basketball and stuff. But like Sweeney having like coach there, it's kind of like a little like tension because all the girls know her, and like it's kind of like a big game. But, and especially because the quarterfinals, my sophomore year we lost to them, so it's like we want to get revenge back a little bit.
Yes and no. They're one of those teams where I guess you could call them like a sleeper team because you wouldn't necessarily say, oh, they're one of our top rivals, but you don't want to count them out either because they're one of those ones where if you let down your guard, they will come back and you'll regret doing that. So it's definitely one of those games where you have to make sure you're staying focused no matter what the score is.
Come on now. There we go. We underestimated them, definitely. Well, they had a good defense. They had a good shortstop. They had good hits. They obviously were trained by, more like rounded coaches, better like young coaches. It was just, I don't know. That game was just a nightmare. Definitely errors upon errors, mistakes upon mistakes, strikeouts after strikeouts. Both parts, we both struck out, but yeah, it was.
In previous years, we've smoked them, and so I think we all kind of went in with that same mentality, like, oh, we're just as good as we were last year, and they're probably still just as bad as they've always been, and so I think we all underestimated them a little bit.
I definitely think we went into that game definitely thinking it was going to be a blowout, but they gave us a good game. They were a good team, and we had to work for it, and it ended up turning out in our favor. And I think it was a good reminder that we can't go into games expecting a certain outcome, because you're never sure like what team's going to turn up and whether we're going to be able to hit that day. So it turned out well, and so I was happy with that.
Well, I think there's two things. So over the past couple seasons, they've seen two versions of John Stark. Obviously, the last time Anna was on the mound was against John Stark, and that was the year she got hurt, and at the time they punched us out of the quarterfinals in a nail-biting game here at home, and it was a phenomenal game. And so they knew that was a good program, a good team.
Last time I played them, that was the last game that I played since I tore my ACL, and we lost them, and they hit a grand slam, and that was how it ended. So it was nervous, and it was nice to finally win against them and get the strikeout for the last.
I just thought, oh my God, Anna, strike her out, because she will get a hold of this ball, and the girl on second will go home, and it'll be tied game, and I can't do this to myself. And the count was 3-2, 2 outs, and she just kept fouling, and I'm just like, oh my God, Anna, just pitch something, just pitch her a high rise, just pitch her something so she just chases it. I mean, she got it. I was just like, oh, thank God. We're out of this mess. We're not tied. Oh, thank you. Just thank you.
And then the following season, they had a lot of kids graduate out, and we see them at their house, we play them there, and it wasn't good. I mean, it was a run rule game. There was a lot of problems. They struggled offensively, defensively to deliver pitches. They walked, I think, 16 batters in the game. It was really ugly, and I think that they had their mindset that Stark was still in a rebuild mode. So when Stark arrives here this year, they get a whole different look at them. And we had cautioned them, we had told the girls, hey, be careful, because year to year things change.
I think part of that was kind of in our head, because we went into that expecting it to be an easy win, and it wasn't. And I think that was the biggest part of it, was just, I think we need to go into every game knowing that every team is a contender, and it's with the teams in this division, it could go in anybody's hands.
To be honest, I don't really know what we did wrong for it to be so close, but I think we maybe took them too lightly, especially not knowing really much about them being early on in the season. I think that we should have, kind of gone in it harder and be like, okay, we're going to go on in this game head on, that kind of mentality. And I think we got there, but I think we didn't get there as soon as we should have, and I think that's what kept the game close. But I think it was also good for us, because we had to battle out of it. It wasn't handed to us. We needed to work for it. We realized the score, and we fought.
I definitely like playing games like that, because it really helps set us up for playoffs. Playing these teams that we blow out, it's great to get those wins, but we're not learning as much from those games, where when we have a close, tight game, it teaches us that competitiveness that we need to have for playoffs, and so that's going to help prepare us better. So maybe we don't win every game, but we're going to be more prepared in the end.
It feels really, really good. It just makes me more nervous as we get to teams like Wyndham, which are our rivals, and just really Sanborn, really competitive teams, because we only beat Oyster River by a run or two, and then to only beat Pembroke by 1. It's just it just makes me a little nervous, but I know we can do it. It's just gonna take time.
Although it's good to win when you're playing not a great team, it doesn't feel as good as when you win playing a good team. So it's nice to have be competitive. It's more fun. Everyone's having fun when you're playing good against a good team.
So our goal is error-free softball. It doesn't matter who the opponent is. So I've told the girls 100 times, I'd rather lose a game 2-1 with no errors than win a game 20-1 with 5 errors. And so in both those games there were mistakes that we can fix, that the other teams capitalized on, And so part of that will be the educational process of being able to go back against them and having a better game. But at the same time, we also like those big game moments because it prepares us for the postseason, and both of those teams offer that to us every time. We seem to have a really cool rivalry between John Stark and PA whenever we play those teams. And so we just want to go back out and play them again. We want to play them all the time because we want to show them that we're ready to play. And people follow those games. They seem to get a lot of attention. And the girls, they play up to that game, and it's really great.
Absolutely. I think that getting the chance to play them again gets to see where we are as a team and see how we've improved, and then again be like, okay, we know what to expect this time. We know how to handle this and what adjustments we need to make. So I think that'll be a confidence booster as well, because being able to see those adjustments that we can make allow us to grow as in a team, and I think we need that.
We'll see what we've done since then to make improvements, to make adjustments, to see if we can put more runs up on them and make adjustments. I think they were good insight into what our girls are capable of doing, to come from behind or to adjust or to battle. And they battled in those games. They really fought for those wins.